Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Well, Frontier Unlocked happened on the 24th of April 2024 amidst a barrage of press releases that have happened this week. Some would say that Frontier and Elite Dangerous is definitely on the up. This, however, is all about Powerplay version 2, which was alluded to in a previous Frontier Unlocked episode, though I think one of the guys wasn't around. Anyway, one of the key points, one of the opening statements, not even 5 minutes into this entire broadcast of an hour long, right, was that they realised that Powerplay is a bit dry. And the fact that Powerplay is a bit dry, they want to make it more engaging so players can jump in and have a bit of fun with it. Well, that certainly piqued my interest. Now let's face it, let's call it out for what it is. The existing version of Powerplay is all about those modules. Yes, there are some player groups who take that background simulation area very, very seriously, but a lot of people are just in it for the modules, then they move on to the next actual power group to get the next module. Let's call it out for what it is. So this is all about making Powerplay more accessible to the player base and more engaging with the player base. So it's all about getting a player to pledge themselves to a Powerplay group or Powerplay entity, helping them do what they want to do in the galaxy and expand to make them all powerful. And how you go about that? Well, a lot of it, from what we can ascertain, is the fact that it's the delivery of certain systems of propaganda, the conversion, the indoctrination, the education of the local population. They also mentioned in quite some length that doing tasks that the power needs you to do in system to help promote that power in system as well. Some of it was a little bit vague, and I think we'll get more information as we get a little bit closer. But one of the best things I thought as well was the graphical representation of the different levels that they showed. And they showed this before in a previous stream of Frontier Unlocked. The exploited, the expansion, the stronghold aspect of things, which I thought was really good. And one of the things as well that I'm quite interested in is the fact that you're going to be able to attack their lovely carriers that they put in system if it's a stronghold. Now, they did speak at some length about these carriers and what would actually cause a carrier to leave. And one of the aspects was that, well, if you're not doing enough in a particular system to maintain a carrier presence, the carrier is not going to feel safe and it's going to leave. This could be down to the fact that, hey, well, an opposing power has come in and is basically sticking it to you. Therefore, the influence is reduced in that system. Therefore, it's off somewhere else because it doesn't want to get destroyed. So, for example, if you've got a carrier in a stronghold and it gets demoted from strongholds to fortified, then your carrier is going to leave. Although, in reverse, the carrier will probably show up at fortified to stronghold. So you've got to get it from fortified to stronghold for that carrier to show up. And that's going to paint a picture of, or a target, shall we say, on that carrier for other powers to attack it. So, rough with the smooth, really. They also mentioned battles around the carriers that are in system and what you can do to make them retreat. They also mentioned about turning the weapons off, so we'll probably see something very similar that we've seen with the existing megaships by, hitting the power generators to get rid of the weapons, or actually just shooting the weapons as well, to make battling around these carriers a little bit more easier. Or to get a carrier to retreat from a system. They also mentioned the carriers are going to be dockable locations as well. And if, for example, you're seeing services go offline or weapons go offline, it actually means that somebody is out there trying to subvert that carrier and get that carrier to retreat. So they were going to encourage players to jump in the ship, fly out there and deal with the threat to the carrier, which I think is quite interesting. And I think one of the main things everyone was interested in the stream of looking at was what's the reward structure in regards to going through all this power play. I mean, it's been a very dry subject in the past. What's going to tempt players in to get involved? Or is this just going to be an expensive part of the game that no one's going to bother with? I hope not. The rewards were quite interesting. They also mentioned in some length a new aspect to the user interface. That's going to be what you use to see what's going on in regards to Powerplay. It's not all just about the galaxy map. A leaderboard and who's been, the most contributing commander to what's going on in that particular system, which is quite good. A question was also raised as well whether power play was going to be open only or available in the other modes of the game, private, group and solo. And I think it was Luke who turned around and said, well, it'll launch exactly how the existing version of power play is launched today, meaning it'll be in all aspects of the game. But that's not necessarily how it may end up. They're talking that, it might just go to open. Who knows? But it's all down to the player base, and they realise it will cause some discussion that, people might not want to play in open. But it's going to be an aspect of the game that is going to be, I think, tweaked over the coming months post-release. Now, with the rewards and the tiers, it's a little bit different. It's all going to be on a merit-based system. So when you start off, you'll be at tier 1, and as you progress through the tiers, you may get options like they've got here, like, a discount on rebuy or a discount on outfitting. And they say that they don't want to go into the individual rewards that you're going to get, but it's going to be system dependent, which is quite interesting when you think about it. Does this mean we're going to see an end to prismatic shields, imperial hammers, and all the rest of it? Well, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. And I don't think they were going to release this release that information, basically, on the stream. Now, they were really cagey about the rewards, to be fair. And they said that, as you gain merits, those merits are only going to go up. Eventually, you're going to get to level 10. And when you get to level 10, that's it. You've hit the top tier, and you're going to have the best of the best of what that particular faction's going to offer you. But then you'll start to fill up another bar, and then you'll get a care package, a bonus, and there's going to be something super special inside that care package bonus that you may have had to have worked really hard to go and get. They were very cagey about this. Like this, either they didn't want to release it, or they're still thinking about what to give people. So in all, to summarise, quite good. UI changes, Stronghold changes, changes inside the stations. You can dock at the carriers, you can have fights around the carriers. They're encouraging you to get around the carriers and defend the carriers. They're also told us as well that, these points, these merits are going to be cumulative. They're only going to go up, they're not going to go down. And the powers are going to encourage you to stay with them. So it does beg the question, with these Stronghold carriers, is this going to be a player aspect that people are going to be just going out, irrespective of community goals, and just defending the carriers and defending their systems, irrespective of what's going on elsewhere? So you're going to see little bits of different wars going on, like what we've seen the Thargoid War, where it's us against the Thargoids. Now it's going to be us against all different factions and other players. I'm quite looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very good. And I think, choosing your player faction or your in-game faction wisely is going to be one of the best things we're going to be looking at when this gets released. Still lots of information they're not going to tell us. That's probably going to come out in future months. But in all, it was quite an interesting stream. Had to keep touch of everything that was going on. It was bouncing around quite a bit. But, there was a good amount of control. And I think should be applauded for sort of like herding the cats, but getting the information out as well. Anyway, I've been Ricardo. This is what I got out of the Frontier Unlocked stream on the 24th of April about Powerplay version 2. Let me know what you think. Are you going to get involved? Everyone's got to at least try and get involved with this. It seems it's going to be a huge part of the game and something they want to invest in and carry on going forward. But we still haven't been told what the new feature's going to be.